Hey everybody, it's Alicia with Graceful Plants, and in this video I will be going through all of my plant survivors, thrivers, and I'll give you a rundown of everything I've killed during quarantine. Alright you guys, so I don't even know how to start this video, honestly. So much has happened and so much has gone down in the past 3+ months. So if you have a question or an update on something, just comment below and I will try to get back to you, or I will cover it in my next video. I've gotten a lot of questions about how things are doing, you know, the Keiki paste update and the string of turtles update. You know, I'll try to cover those as best as I can. I will be going over my green spaces plants update probably in a separate video, because I honestly feel like those plants took the hardest hit during quarantine, unfortunately. There was a lot of tears shed, not gonna lie. But I think those kind of deserve their own video, because at no fault of their own, it truly was just a shitty plant parent that caused their demise. So starting off, my family and I went into quarantine back in March, and in March in Wisconsin, the weather is still a little temperamental. It's not really warm, it's not really cold. You can literally have your heat on one day and the air conditioner on the next day. So me being the tired, exhausted mom that I was, we had gotten quite a few nice days at the end of March, beginning of April. And I decided to move a couple of my, I don't want to say hardier because they weren't hardy plants. I know, mistake number one. I wanted to move some of my bigger plants outside to the sun porch because it was staying, you know, high 40s, low 50s at night. So I kind of wanted to start acclimating my plants to getting them all outside. So I started off with bringing my Monstera deliciosa, my Marble Queen pothos, and my double-decker spider plant hanger right behind my head there. I had moved those 3 plants outside into the sun porch, thinking that if something happens, if it gets too cold, they'll be okay. If they die, it's not a huge loss, because obviously I've got a ton of spider plant babies in my house. I have another Marble Queen pothos in the house. I mean, I would be upset if my Monstera deliciosa died, but it was kind of a risk that I was willing to take at that point, because I was having a spider mite outbreak in my office, which I will get to in a second. Sorry, I'm trying not to let this become a long rambling video. So I moved those 3 plants outside, and of course the temperature drops and it snows. Yeah, because heaven forbid I look at the weather forecast. So my Monstera deliciosa suffered a lot of cold damage, and when I say a lot, I mean about 50% of her leaves were mush. So they got chopped off. The Marble Queen was a complete loss, and then nothing can kill a spider plant. It looked a little sad for a few days, but it bounced right back, because spider plants are like the cockroaches of the plant world, honestly. Nothing can kill them, or at least in my opinion. So I'm already down a marble pothos. I have an attempted murder charge on my Monstera deliciosa. So those are the first ones to go. Like I said, I had wanted to start moving plants outside because I was having a spider mite outbreak in my office. And my office has about 80% of my plants in it. I was having a spider mite outbreak because my humidifier broke. My humidifier broke because I wasn't using distilled water. Because again, tired, exhausted mom, priorities, humidifier lost. So I was using our well water in my humidifier, which you can do. You just need to make sure you keep up with the cleaning so that there isn't a lot of mineral hard water buildup on it, which obviously you kind of know where this is going. obviously didn't. So my humidifier was down, my room was dry, and the spider mites saw their opportunity and they won. So during the spider mite outbreak of 2020, I pretty much just chalked up all of my calatheas as losses. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. And I am a terrible person. The only calatheas that survived were my Calathea rufi barba. As far as my marantas go, I lost a couple pots of green maranta and my large red maranta. And what else? I mean, I lost my Stromanthe Trio Star. I lost my variegated Stromanthe Trio Star. Yeah, I know. So I lost about 10 plants to the spider mite outbreak. Most of them were the calatheas, the marantas, you know, the humidity living plants that I had, you know, kind of huddled around my humidifier that I temporarily broke. Yeah. And some of them weren't huge deals. Obviously, I don't like any of my plants dying, but I also had multiples of a lot of those. The marantas that I lost, I had splits of, so it wasn't a huge deal, and that's kind of why I decided to just pitch them than sit and repeatedly treat these plants. My Never Never plant was another goner. That one in itself, I think I had treated at least 3 separate times for spider mites, and I could just never get ahead of it. So that one is not completely dead. It is actually living outside on our outside porch, and it's kind of just giving it to the plant gods, and if it lives, it lives. If it dies, it dies. It's kind of my attitude during this whole quarantine thing. So, moving on to the succulent room. The Ladybugs that I had released in my house to take care of, you know, the mealybugs and the spider mites actually did a really good job at getting rid of the mealybugs on my succulents, I will say. So, Ladybug update, they were good for mealybugs. So a few weeks ago, when it was finally nice enough to start moving my succulents outside, I started going through all of my propagations that I had going all winter long in all of my baby succulents and started putting them into pots, like large pots, where I could just move them outside. And I noticed a few mealybugs on a couple of the smaller plants, and instead of wasting time and energy and rubbing alcohol, because apparently rubbing alcohol is a high commodity during quarantine, I just decided to throw some succulents away. And I did find a mealybug on one of my little cacti. I did clean him off and I did keep him, so not everything got tossed, but I just kind of had to make a couple tough choices where a lot of things went. And last but not least, when I was finally able to move all of my plants outside to the sun porch, where the humidity is nice and it's sunny and it's just a perfect happy place for my plants, right? No. I moved all of my plants outside. They were all acclimating well, except my flipping Alocasia cuprea. All right. This plant is infuriating. So this was one of my green spaces plants that I was absolutely obsessed with. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I loved it. And again, I will go over this on my green spaces plants update, but I will just show you this because it's sitting right here. So this was a baby leaf that was coming off of my Alocasia. And yeah, it was out here for 2 days. I hadn't even watered it yet, nothing. And I noticed it was looking a little like tippy looking. So I went to go check it out to make sure it was fine, because like I said, I hadn't even watered it yet. And it was completely rotted. Like when I say completely rotted, like I don't even know what to compare it to, like a dog turd. I don't know. The whole root, the whole bulb of this gorgeous plant was just mush. Like, and it's so aggravating to me because I literally have no idea what happened to it, because it was fine and dandy when it was in the house. And I'll just show you this now because it probably won't still be around when I do my green spaces update. But this is the pot that it was in. And you can see all of those are all new roots. But it was so happy. Like, there was so many roots. It was doing so good. And then it died. So that one was hard. I may or may not have cried about that one. That one was rough. So when I finally moved everything out here, the Alocasia cuprea went, and my cast iron plant. I did post a picture to Instagram a couple weeks back where I noticed that it had scale, white flies, whatever it is, and spider mites. So I did treat it. I treated everything and I pushed it away from all my other plants. And, you know, I was completely ready to treat my cast iron plant because I didn't want to throw it away because I like it a lot. Fast forward to the next day, I was gone and my brother had come over with one of our farm dogs, and, you know, which is normal. It wasn't anything out of the normal, but I just wasn't here. And I came home and realized that our sweet old farm dog had peed all over my cast iron plant. Yeah. Like, he did good. He got it good. Like, he wanted to make it clear to everyone that that was going to be his plant because it was covered head to toe. The entire pot was just soaked. So that's now his plant. But it isn't quite dead yet. It ain't happy. It was peed on. I mean, would you be happy if you got peed on? But I did move it outside and I cleaned him up, and he's just kind of hanging out on one of the shadier spots of our sun porch. And again, it's going to be a live or die situation because between the spider mites and whatever else was going on with that, plus the dog urine, giving it to the plant gods. You make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. All right, so now that I've pretty much gone through, I think, almost all of the plants that I have killed during quarantine, I will go through here quickly and show you some of the plants that are absolutely thriving during quarantine. And again, I'll probably go over these more during my upcoming plant tour. So bear with me. So hold on, we're going for a ride. So the first plant that is absolutely thriving during quarantine right now is my silver satin plant from Gabriella Plants. So you can see there's a new leaf coming out here and a couple more down here, and it is just exploding and it is very happy with life. Another plant that is doing really well is my gorgeous whale fin sansevieria, and I say that because you can see it's got a baby. Yay! I'm really excited about that guy. So another plant that I will call as thriving is my Scindapsus pictus. He was very long and leggy during winter. So he's got some really long vines here, but these 2.5, 3 leaves have all emerged since I've moved them outside, and they're a lot closer together than some of these were on these vines. And then the other plant that I will say that is surviving and thriving right now is my Cebu Blue. As you can see here, he's got a pretty good vine going on, and I will probably be chopping and propping him in the near future to get a more bushier bottom plant down here. So I will say that those are the 3 happiest plants I've probably got out here right now. I mean, all my plants are happy out here for the most part because of the increased humidity and the sun, and it's just a very good growing time for them. But those are the ones that are kind of being overachievers at the moment. But if there's anything I've missed or that I haven't covered, or if you're wondering about a certain plant, let me know in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I have a lot of upcoming videos planned and an updated houseplant tour, hopefully sooner than later. As always, you guys are awesome. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.